Good morning. For all of the newly arrived, kindly grab some food, have some coffee, sit down. If you don't know what's going on, but you're intrigued, have some coffee, some food, and sit down. Welcome. I'm Evelyn Sanguinetti, and I am your Lieutenant Governor here in the great state of Illinois. Now, today we're getting together on an issue that's very, very, very important to me, and it's the issue of combating child hunger. And so a lot of people wonder, well, why is it that the Lieutenant Governor even cares about an issue like child hunger? Well, there was a former Lieutenant Governor by the name of Corinne Wood that always told me that as Lieutenant Governor, something will fall on your lap that is very important to you. So about 2 years ago, the USDA and the Illinois State Board of Education, as well as the Coalition to End Child Hunger, came up to me and said to me that they were on a mission to end child hunger in the state of Illinois. And they told me all about what they did, and it had direct ties to my upbringing. You see, my mother is a Cuban refugee, and she had me when she was only 15 years of age. I was born and raised in Hialeah, Florida, an apartment complex where Pitbull the rapper was from, Hialeah, Florida. But I remember that meals were always a worry in my family. I oftentimes heard my parents argue about whether to pay the rent or whether to put food on the table. And I remember always being one step ahead of the landlord. Food uncertainty should not be occurring with our children. Our children should be in school learning, and their tummies should not be roaring. Their tummies should be full so that they could learn. I remember growing up having that fear and that embarrassment because I carried that free lunch card until such time as my mom told me, Evelyn, all you need to do is look down the line and you'll see that all the other kids in your class also have that free lunch card because of the communities that I was growing up in. But we need to get rid of that stigma associated with hunger. We need to attack the problem. And we also have data now. Science now tells us that if the kids are hungry, they're not learning. Also reminds me about my childhood. I failed the first grade, and I oftentimes think I was probably worried about the next meal and not about what was going on in my classes. So it's my great honor today and pleasure to attack two problems that have been going on. So right now, we have the free meals program. During the summertime, our children have access to free lunches. However, a lot of parents do not know about this. They think it's only available during the school year. Also, too, we now have legislation because all of you have put this together and made sure that our kids get breakfast after the bell. But we're facing some issues with implementation because it's new. So we want to put some batteries in that program too and make it all work so that we could all end child hunger. Now going forward, we're here with some partners that will guide you through this mission because a lot of you want to help, but you don't know how. And they will teach you. So first of all, I would like to introduce Ms. Kate Mayer. And if she could please come up and say a few words, and she will give you the guidance that you need because I know we all want to help our children here in Illinois. Thank you.
So first of all, I would like to say that Illinois is fortunate on many fronts, but one of those fronts is having an extraordinary lieutenant governor who has chosen to use the attention and the access to talk about the children in this amazing state who wake up each morning struggling because they know that they do not have enough food in their household for them to eat. Imagine for a moment in a great state like Illinois this morning that there were 583,000 children who are waking up right now, getting ready for school. Maybe they're getting on a bus, maybe they're already sitting in their classroom, and they're doing it with that additional burden of not having access to the food that they need to be healthy, to do well in school, to learn, and to thrive. Now, I am very pleased to say we have made this as easy as possible. After you've had your second cup of coffee and a little bit more to eat, I want you to visit the table right back there where you will find for every single district a sheet of paper that tells you for your district the number of summer meal sites, the number of summer meal sites we know that we need in order to be able to reach all of the children who are struggling with hunger in children. So that's the bogey for you golfers, right? That's what we're trying to get to. We also have information about school breakfast, the number of children in your district who are eligible, the number of children who are accessing, and you will find that there is a very big gap, and the list of schools that are eligible for the legislation that you passed last year to have breakfast in the classroom. So this is the data. This is your sword as we go into this work. And on the second page, we've given you 3 very easy steps to take to make sure that every child in Illinois has access to the food that he or she needs to be healthy. Number 1, there is a great opportunity to encourage schools, and that is principals, school board members, teachers, parents, you name it, to make sure that they are accessing breakfast in the classroom. There are resources here. There are dollars, there's technical expertise that we will make sure that those schools are able to provide those meals, but it starts with that conversation, and we need your help with that. Number 2, we need your help identifying meal sites. I'm not going to call anyone out by name, but I was inspired by one of your colleagues a few minutes ago who said, why don't we ask every member of the General Assembly to have their office serve as a summer meal site? What a great idea, Representative Chapalivia. Summer meal sites can be in churches, they can be in libraries, they can be in schools, they can be in community centers, and yes, they can even be in somebody's office, as long as it is a place accessible to children. That is a problem we can solve. It is a problem that you can solve. And we are here today to give you the tools that you need. So when we are done, we will be there to answer questions and to connect you with the information you need. But for now, thank you, and my thanks to our incredible Lieutenant Governor.
So you folks heard it. 1 in every 5 children is still facing food uncertainty in the state of Illinois, and there's simply no reason for that. Today we have with us some sponsors. All we need are sites. To think that we already have the sponsors that could facilitate this. I'd like to give a great shout out to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. If you folks could raise your hand and be acknowledged there. Another fine sponsor is the Central Illinois Food Bank. A shout out to you folks and everything that you do. Again, the sponsors do all the hard work, and we have so many other sponsors. This has become infectious. People do really want to step up and help, but they just don't know how. And you just heard from one advocate that gave you all the steps. Next in line, we are going to have Amy Bianco come up here and speak. She is with the Illinois State Board of Education, and she's going to talk about the summer meals program. I don't know about you guys, but at home I have 3 small children. And let me tell you, during the summertime, when they're swimming and they're doing a lot of exercise, I feel like they eat 8 times more. But a lot of times parents do not know that the free lunches that they get during the school year is available in the summertime. And so we're doing a lot of work to identify sites because, folks, we have those sponsors. So Amy, come and take the baton and let us know a little bit more. Thank you.
At your sites, we're looking for different sites throughout the state, and sites can just be a feeding site, or that site could combine it with activities. So we look to see where are the kids during the summertime. They're at libraries, they're at park districts, they're at pools, community buildings, all of those types of entities that can be sites in the program to help feed the kids. That's all right, okay. The site is the exact location where they will be feeding the kids. And as I said, it can be in a number of places. It cannot be in a person's home, but there are a lot of places out there that it can access. Also, a site can be for one day. It can be for a week during the summer. It could be for 10 weeks during the summer. It could be 1 day a week, 2 days a week. That's up to the site and how they want to run their program. So if somebody says, well, I don't want to do it all summer, they don't have to. They could feed kids for just a couple weeks, and that is fine as well. That's still helping us reach more kids during the summertime.
Our final speaker, I'd like to call up Roxanne Rummage, and she's also with the Illinois State Board of Education. But today she will be talking to us about breakfast after the bell. Again, this is a situation where we've worked so hard to implement this program, but we still need to do more so that more people could find out about it and we could hit the ground running. In other words, we need to execute now. So come on over and let us know more.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for everybody being here and listening. Again, my role today is to talk to you all about the recently passed legislation that's referred to as breakfast after the bell. That was Public Act 0990850. So with that regard, our schools are just getting started with this. This law was just signed into law this year. And the implementation will happen when we go back to school coming here in the fall. So we're still in our planning stages, we're still in our implementation phase, so anything that you can do to assist us to get the word out to schools, to help them, to put them in contact with our office so that we could provide assistance to them would be fantastic. We are looking forward to doing some workshops, trainings, reaching out to sites that are impacted by this so in the near future. So hopefully they'll see some support from our office as well, because their job is one that's really great. And I think this event is wonderful because this week we do celebrate the successes in our schools as we celebrate National School Breakfast. I think it's wonderful. We do have room to grow, but as you can see on my slide, our Illinois schools right now in the state of Illinois are providing breakfast, probably right now as we are speaking, to children. 425,000 students are getting breakfast at schools each day. So yes, that number is big, it's large, but Illinois is a large state and we do have room for growth. When we look at that population, when we look at those 425,000 students, a little more than 93% of those children are getting meals because they are eligible for free or reduced price meals.
Thank you so much for that, Roxanne. So we have two very important pieces here, and of course I have some asks as well. You heard all about our summer meals program. You heard that we have the federal funding for it. We have sponsors here that could help out with providing these meals. All we need are the sites during the summertime. They'll help you out with the rest, and that's very easy. 1 in every 5 children is still food uncertain here in Illinois, and we could fight that. We have the funds, so we could do something about it. So I have an ask to all the legislators here with us today. Could we identify 2 possible sites? And to all the senators, could we do the same to work together this summer and make sure that no child goes hungry? Because the money is there for the summer meals program. Now, as it pertains to the breakfast after the bell program, legislation is there, but as you heard from Roxanne, we need some implementation help. You know, for those schools who unilaterally already decided to start offering breakfast after the bell, they say that they already see the difference, and they have those best practices for us. So let's work together. My second ask of all of you is to let's organize roundtables in your communities. I'll show up with the team, and we'll talk to the superintendents, and we'll talk to all of the stakeholders, all our school directors, so that they could know more about how to implement the breakfast after the bell program. Other than that, you know, if we get to do steps 1 and 2, at the end, the Lieutenant Governor's office will also do a big media blast, and you folks get a grand prize for helping prevent child hunger in the state of Illinois. We'll put it on Facebook, we'll put it on the paper, and we'll keep extolling the virtues of keeping our children safe and their bellies full here in the state of Illinois. Thank you so much for joining us, and again, go back there and grab that paperwork. It's good stuff. Thank you.
Governor, why are we holding this event today?
Well, this event is very important. It's a 2-prong event. We're talking about the breakfast after the bell legislation. A lot of kids, 1 in 5 kids in Illinois, are food uncertain, and we all know that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Now that we've made it law and kids could get breakfast after the school bell rings, now we need to implement it. A lot of people have questions, so we're here to talk about the breakfast after the bell legislation and how to go about implementing it. Very important. Second prong of this whole event is our summer meals program. The USDA provides summer meals in that they have the funding at the federal level so that our kids will not go hungry in the summertime, and they have access to healthy meals. Problem is, a lot of people don't know that this program is federally funded, and a lot of parents don't know that they have access, if they receive free meals during the year, that they have access to free lunches in the summertime. So we're bringing awareness to that and also trying to identify sites. Today we had a lot of sponsors, so we already have the funding, we have the sponsors able to pack and give the food to the children, but we don't have the sites. Could you believe that? 1 in 5 kids are food uncertain in the state of Illinois, yet we're still trying to find these summer sites. So work with me, and we're going to get this done. We need to fight child hunger in Illinois. There's no excuse.
Why is this issue important to you?
Well, this issue is not only important to me, but it's very personal. You see, growing up, my mom was 15 when she had me. She was a Cuban immigrant. And I remember that my parents oftentimes fought because they didn't know whether they could pay the rent or put food on the table. And that's a worry that no child should ever have. They should have access to good, healthy meals throughout the year. And so this is why it's an important thing for me, because it has a personal connection. You know, I failed the first grade. A lot of people now know the data is showing us that if the kids are hungry, they're not learning. Maybe that's why I failed the first grade. This is why it's so important to bring awareness to the issue and to make sure that our kids get these wonderful meals, not only during the school year, but also in the summertime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the purpose side of the one picture that shows the eligible children in your district, children that are participating in and then this is an act sheet that tells you information about how you can
coordinates with the Lieutenant Governor's office and making some suggestions on sites, right? This is for